Bible says, arise, arise, awake, ye men of Zion. Shake yourself from the dust. You used to rule the earth. Now we groveling at some cracker's feet. And if your brother stands up and speaks bold and speaks of war with the enemy, you back off from him and run like a little sissy. I don't agree with that cheap language. Damn cheap language. There is no special way to talk to the enemy.
Peace, love, and happiness. We are here now on 125th Street at the Final Call Building Part 2. We got a surprise guest for you. He's a young Malcolm. He's a Farrakhan. He's a Dr. Khalid. He go by the name of Sankofa. So get ready, buckle your seatbelts because you're going for a ride. Final Call Building Part 2. I now bring a spokesman and representative direct on House of Consciousness with authorization from Sonetta TV. I now bring you the one and only Sankofa.
Thank you, Queens. Peace. Peace and black power. I want to give a special thanks and shout out to the elder brother right here, Brother Melchizedek. Not old, elder. Old means when you gave up on your ambitions and your desires and your dreams and you're no longer a visionary, then you become old. No, with time, this brother has become more stronger and solid and firm and the square in which he stands upon, being an example for young brothers like me to follow. Okay? And I thank you for that. You are a blessing and you are a gem in the community, and keep doing what you're doing because they can never duplicate another Melchizedek. All right? Only thing we can do is imitate. All right? So black power and peace, and thank you for that strong, black, powerful introduction. All right? It's an honor and a privilege to be here once again on 125th Street, right here in the black mecca of Harlem, New York. Shout out to Baba TV. I thank you, brother, for your diligence, for your consistency towards giving people on a consistent basis again information. They can tune into Baba TV every day and see something new, see a new topic being dissected, new contemporary information being addressed, okay, and analyzed for the people so the people can learn. And I want to commend you for that, brother, because information is powerful. Information is key. Information is what's going to be necessary to take place. It was going to be necessary for liberation to take place. Information as an antithesis to counter the lies, the distortion of truth, the corruption, the rewriting of history, and the indoctrination and misrepresentation of lies and a misrepresentation of truth. Okay? So therefore, by you doing that, brother, that is a very revolutionary act. You know what I'm saying? Very revolutionary. And I commend you and thank you, Baba TV, because you are fire every time. So let's go. I'm in good spirits. My stress levels are low. Okay, my confidence is very high. You know, I just had my born day the other day. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 40s. I'm gonna keep y'all guessing. I'm gonna keep y'all guessing. It's an honor to say that I share the same birthday as the great Malcolm X. May 19th, my birthday just passed. Today's Saturday, it was just Thursday. Just past Thursday. Thank you, peace.
May 3rd, peace, man.
Peace 3rd, okay, yes sir. Brother Farrakhan, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, May 11th. May 11th, another Taurus in the building, okay? That Heru energy, if you understand it on a higher level of consciousness, okay? The bull.
And Malika Adia Shabazz, May 6th.
May 6th, Malika Adia Shabazz. Malika Adia Shabazz. Peace, black power, happy belated sister if you're out there watching. Yeah, so it was a beautiful thing. We met up right here at the, if you can just show them right quick, at the State Building, and it's there every year. So in case those who missed it or wasn't aware of it, you know where to go. The Adam Clayton Powell Building. I love Adam Clayton Powell. I love what he stood for. Black was beautiful, black was strong, and black was represented in Harlem when Adam Clayton Powell was here. Sidebar right quick. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I'm not into politics. My solutions are religious oriented, really spiritual, but I know what he meant. Religious oriented, but if you're gonna support any politician, support Adam Clayton Powell and promote the Muslim agenda. There's a reason why he said that. Do your research on the great Adam Clayton Powell. Okay, Adam Clayton Powell is where we meet every year, May 19th at 9 o'clock in the morning. We head out before 10 and we go to the Ferncliff Cemetery, okay, upstate New York, about 15 miles outside of New York City. Very short drive, and oh man, powerful. This was my 41st solar revolution, or 41 years of existing here in this plane of existence, okay? And it was my 11th time actually attending the actual pilgrimage and commemoration and honor to the legacy and the works of the great black shining prince of righteousness and discipline and revolution, the Honorable Malcolm X. So it was an honor to be there. There was a lot of new people there for the first time. I met a lot of people for the first time that I've never met. This is a beautiful day. I love it. My shout out to Uniteam, Big L, Brother Al. The brothers, they was their first time coming in, my study group, based right here in New York City, specifically the Bronx, but we're expanding. Did their thing. They came and they actually participated in the ceremonial ritual that we have in a commemoration to the Honorable Great El Hajj Malik Shabazz Malcolm X. Yes, they held it down and formed the inner perimeter circle around his grave with the seat of the elders, okay? African tradition. Look into it. The elders' seat. And it had the flag, a flag that has been being brought there to Malcolm X's grave site every single year. From when it first started in 1965, excuse me, to now, 51 years strong. We had brother Professor James Smalls speaking, doing his thing as he always does. Brother Leonard Jeffrey speaking. We had the drummers. It was beautiful. We had the kids from the schools, the New York City public schools and charter schools that went there and attended that. So our legacy and our great leader will not be forgotten. Yes, we must tell our own story. And we did a damn sure great job last Thursday at the Ferncliff Cemetery where Malcolm X remains are. And also you got to give a shout out to his wife, his queen, who was a backbone and a structure to the family, the foundation to his greatness, Betty Shabazz, Dr. Betty Shabazz. I want to send a shout out and a RIP, rest in paradise, to Malik Latif Shabazz, Malcolm X's great grandson, and Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, for his remains also are within that cemetery. Did you know that, Brother Baba? And Ferncliff? Yeah, Bob. Khalid Muhammad, his remains are there. Oh, Paul Robeson is there. And inside of the mausoleum, you have, I believe you have Brother Clarence 13X, or Father Allah of the 5% Nation of Islam is there. Damn, for that to be a cemetery, there's more life and energy there than there is sometimes in the ghettos in the hells here in North America. And here it is, you got people that's dead, okay? But it seems like there's more life there and the remains and the essence of the energy that's there than there is sometimes around people who are animated living beings. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, it's a revolutionary cemetery. You get a chance, go there and check out our ancestors, okay? Pour some libation, okay? Ashe. So it was a very powerful event, and I'm glad to be here, man. Another year here on the ground, and always redefining, reinvigorating, you know what I'm saying, myself. Always re-evolutionizing, because the word revolution is composite of two words, re and evolution. Always re-evolving, always reassessing, always re-evaluating, always preparing myself for the next level. Because I do know and understand that in this life I am on a journey, okay? I am on a journey. And a journey takes place with a first step, and then there's many other steps to follow. And on the course of that journey, you're gonna cross paths with different people that you were meant to meet. Sometimes bad, and most times good. But this is all part of the process of you getting into your part of the process of you being on your journey. and ultimately meeting to your ultimate destiny. These are steps that are part of the process. Transition, change, okay? Building, growing, evolving, re-evolving, which is what the word revolution means, is the path and the journey that your brother Sankofa is on, okay? Always studying, reading. I'm reading a book right now by Kwame Nkrumah. It's called The Handbook for Revolutionary Warfare. You know what I mean? And it's a powerful book written by Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, Peace, Black Power, after it became liberated in the 1950s. Powerful book. He was a proponent of Pan-Africanism, and Pan-African or perish is the chant that I will chant till the day that I die. I didn't always chant that. I didn't always say Pan-Africanism. I didn't always understand, therefore believe or represent the tenets of what Pan-Africanism is. You know what I mean? I've shared with people before my journey, how I started on this path in consciousness. You know what I mean? Always had that foundation of black pride and self-love in my household, thanks to my moms. You know what I'm saying? The Queen always instilled that into me. But that was like a picture that was just a sketch. You know what I'm saying? The picture just only had a sketch then. Okay, follow me, walk with me. But it seemed like once I started to study other ideological and theological tenets that were geared towards black liberation and spiritual enlightenment through the school of Islam at the time under then As-Sayyid al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, or Dr. York, or Imam Isa back then, the picture that was once a sketch started to have color. It wasn't just a picture with sketch now, it was a picture where the sketch had color. Walk with me. As I started to go through the school of the Hebrew Israelites on my journey and my path that started with one step and proceeded with many more steps, okay? As I started to study that, and I believe I gained a more heightened or broader scope and understanding scripture and to some extent spirituality. From that perspective, the picture now had color, okay? It went from being a sketch to having color to having a little bit of sound. Okay, walk with me. Now, as I started to study, and my research brought me into a broader scope, width, and depth of understanding, okay, through committing myself to study, now that picture as a Pan-Africanist and black nationalist had went from just being a sketch with color and sound to a sketch with color, sound, and motion, okay? And this is what I represent, and this is my path, okay? Pan-Africanism or perish. I understand why Dr. John Henry Clark chanted that slogan, that powerful slogan and statement. I understand why in 1899, because this Pan-African concept is not nothing new. Oh, this is something that proponents of liberation have always been teaching to the people for our collective self-preservation, and self-preservation is the first law of nature. Yes, I have to give a shout out to Alexander Crumble, people who were the proponents of black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, people who taught W.E.B. Du Bois, even though people have discrepancy with his perspective and his methodology, whole nother topic for a whole nother day. I have to give a shout out to Henry Sylvester Williams, okay, who in 1899, the first Pan-African conference took place in London, England. Yes, right in London, England, 1899. It was called the African Association, and then it became known as the Pan-African Movement, okay? And under the Pan-African Movement and idea, I noticed that there had been a lot more success in a time that was turbulent for black people. More success. What I mean by success, okay, I'm gonna give you a detailed description of what I mean by success. Black power, brother. That's right, black power, okay, or perish. Now, if you look at where we were in the 1800s, okay, a decade that was turbulent for black people. I mean, a decade where we just came out of captivity, and doing so, white resentment, social resentment for our so-called status that they perceived us having, okay, in society, even though we weren't free and didn't have real equality. You know what I'm saying? We were no longer considered property. Even though we were treated as property, we were no longer considered that, okay? And Congress had passed a law that had liberated certain territories. They didn't just free all slaves. Some people have this delusion that Abraham Lincoln just freed all the slaves one day. No, there was already free territories, so-called free. You know, I use that word loosely, but what they considered or called free. But there were certain other territories in the South that weren't free. And to strike a blow to the Southern economy, which is agriculturally based economy, okay, and to give rise and power to the new economic economy, which was went from being agricultural to being industrial, which was more so in the North. There was a civil war, and he liberated certain Southern territories to strike a blow to the economic foundation of the Southerners, okay? That's what the Civil War was. They didn't just liberate all of us, but let's look at what took place in the 1800s. You had more black inventors. Am I right, Baba? More black inventors. Then, look at all the black inventors and look at the years, okay? We had more black schools, colleges, university. I believe the first one was Fisher in Pennsylvania. Yes, the first university. We had many. We had our first propaganda mechanism of independently with the newspaper. What was the name of the newspaper by Sam Cornish, the brother Sam Cornish, the Freedom Journal, okay? The Red Report by Ida B. Wells. We were a people on forward mobility to independent liberation. Self-sufficiency is what I mean by liberation, okay? We had more success rates in school and academia then. We produced more doctors. We produced more inventors. We produced more freedom fighters. In a time where it was more turbulent, in a time where white supremacy was a social order of the day and was blatantly represented in your face. It wasn't disguised and hid like sometimes it is now. It's in your face blatantly now in a lot of ways, okay? So we have to look at what was going on. So the people who were the proponents of the Pan-African ideology came out of that same era, came out of the same time of the 1800s, where we produced more liberation, more freedom fighters. Toussaint L'Ouverture, Dessalines, 1804, Haiti liberated. You came out of chattel slavery, okay, in the 1800s. Okay, we produced more inventors, scholars, scientists in the 1800s, and we were a people, even though we were under the Plessy and Ferguson Act of the 1800s, separate but equal, which is the social order of the day. We still made strides, and out of a bottomless vitality, what appeared to be so, as a people, we continue to thrive, live, and grow, have more successful marriages, have better family structure. Yes, under the same paradigm of white supremacy, but at a different era. We have to ask ourselves, what happened? Yes, we know white supremacy happened, but white supremacy's been happening. Within the realm of that reality, of that social order of global white supremacy, what took place where in the 1800s, where some people couldn't even read that well, people didn't even have all the knowledge that we have now. People wasn't talking about metaphysics. People wasn't dropping the science that they was talking about now. We were nowhere near on the level of intellectual capacity that we exhibit now. But we were a people that had more understanding of the necessity of unity, what principle unity was, and we were produced more. Yes, we were consumers, but we were also more so producers at that time within our own community. We must ask ourselves, black people, what happened? In the 1800s, we produced more. In the 1900s, early 1900s, we started to produce and stuff like that. It was a decline. Integration, forget about it. Reaganomics, oh, hell no. Okay? The promotion of the manufacturing of the criminal black mind via media, before social media, television, you know what I'm saying, movies, different narratives as far as books and novels was written is concerned. You know what I'm saying? It was a decline. We understand what happened and how it took place categorically and when it took place, but we have to ask ourselves, why is Pan-Africanism important? What is Pan-Africanism? I see a lot of people who claim to be proponents of liberation and who even say black power, who kind of shy away from Pan-Africanism. That's not my people. I'm not from there. You know what I'm saying? We got to worry about what's going on right here in the city of New York. We got to worry about what's going on right here in America. What do you mean, Africa? You know what I'm saying? You want to free Africa? They stare at you because they ain't got it too good in America. Like how Ice Cube said on America's Most Wanted. You want to free Africa? I stare at you. Because we ain't got it too good in America, which is true. But we got to understand that we are international people. We are a people whose history is all over the world. We are a people who, our people are in different parts of the, we are not just here, and white supremacy is a global institution. So how do you fight a global institution with just a local objective, with just a local plan? How do you fight long term? How do you understand what we're facing? And that white supremacy is not an agenda just in America. It's an agenda that spans the whole 196,940,000 square mile circumference of the planet Earth. Okay? In order to combat white supremacy, because if you combat it just here in America, okay, and it exists everywhere else, you are still not a liberated people. They can always recoup, reorganize, okay, and always come back into full effect on your ass. Okay? So you got to understand that we must act, and we must think, and we must act locally and nationally, but we also must work nationally and locally, but we must think internationally. We must think the bigger picture. We must understand and know that Pan-Africanism is important, because when we talk about a people dealing with autonomy or trying to establish autonomy, okay, self-sufficiency and independence as a people, okay, we must come to terms that resources is what's needed to build an infrastructure. Resources is what's needed to build a nation. You need resources, things that the earth produces. You need land. The basis or the premise of liberty is having land, okay? Even if you was to get a free state here in America, which was what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to teach, which made a lot of sense, that was just a step. Every journey starts with a step and is preceded by many more steps in the path of your liberation and to meet your ultimate destiny, okay, on that journey. So I can understand what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying back then, okay? But we always have today. We don't just stop there. If we was to have a state, know that that state would be surrounded on its borders by Europeans and people who don't have your best interests in mind. Damn it, they don't even want you to have equality. They don't even want to, they bitching and trying to bang on you for just having something that was called affirmative action that was passed in the 1960s, a social order that was passed in the 1960s because the discrimination was so strong. And as part of the part of the fabric of the social American order, that certain measures had to take place politically to ensure that enough black people, and not only black people benefited from affirmative action, the homosexuals did, the white woman benefited from affirmative action, okay, and even handicapped or disabled people. So that wasn't something that was the end of. The white man don't even want you to benefit from that, even though you didn't benefit from that. So imagine if you had your own territory with land and you was producing goods and trading and engaging and money was turning over in your own communities 20, 25 times before it left. Oh, the white man's resentment would have, you ain't seen white supremacy and the viciousness of this cracker nowhere near yet. If you had your own land or city, black city sovereignty or own territory right here in America. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand when it comes to certain trade laws, you know what I'm saying? The food you would be getting from the enemy. They will be contaminating food, poisoning food, sending you shoddy medical supplies and things like that. Because this is what you have to do when you establish a nation. You have to depend on other people as far as when it comes to dealing on a level of trade, for purposes of commerce, for things that you need to build a nation or establish yourself as a people that have autonomy. We have to be realistic. We have to look at these things in layers, and we have to have a blueprint for our success, a blueprint for Black Power. Read that book by Dr. Amos Wilson, Blueprint for Black Power, okay? Also read by Amos Wilson, The Falsification of African Consciousness, because we have a lot of pseudo Pan-Africanists. They think that, or they give the impression that Pan-African means we're all gonna just get on zebras and ride back to Africa, okay? Or we're gonna eat sugar cane and play soccer with dashikis on and play drums all day and go to living in huts. Or, you know what I'm saying, they have a misunderstanding of what Pan-African means. They have a misinterpreted perspective that was given, or that was just misunderstood on their behalf of what Pan-Africanism is. What does the word Pan mean? Pan means collective. The Asian And right here in New York City, the Chinaman, they practice Pan-Asianism. What is Pan-Asianism? They have a Chinatown right here in America. They didn't just say, we ain't in China. We built the transatlantic trainway. You know what I'm saying? We've built and committed and contributed a lot to the building of this country, and they did. They did. Okay? But you know what they did? They connect a cultural continuity and connection with their heritage and who and what they are, because that's what makes a people great, that's what makes a people last, and that's what gives children a psychological balance of pride in which to stand upon and fight and persevere in this competitive world. Thus, we call it a race. They're in this race to win. Are you in this race to win? Okay? Race first. When you say race, that is Pan-African. I am a part of the black race, which comes from different parts of Africa. We have different phenotypes. We have different lands and language and spiritual systems and different ways of representing our cultures. It's understandable. So the pseudo-Pan-African thinks that we're just trying to cling to something, to become part of something, because we have been robbed of a knowledge of self, which we have. So therefore, we're just trying to identify with any old thing, as if we're not intelligent and we don't do research and we don't understand that we have to take the tapestry of all of our greatness in Africa and weave it into a whole new paradigm of consciousness and what we are today. We are the sons and daughters of Africa, but under this peculiar institution of slavery, we have become something different. We are American, but not all the way American. We are African, but not quite all African. We are something a little bit more, even though we know we genetically descend from the great African genes. We should take pride in that. We should want to know and understand who and what we are, what we descend from, and have a cultural continuity and a racial pride that connects to a certain land, okay, and a history that attaches to it, okay? This is important for our self-preservation, self-pride. The Asian practices Pan-Asianism. You know how? Because when you go to Chinatown, right on Canal Street and Lower Manhattan, you'll see a Chinatown. You know what that is? A lot of the stuff that they're getting as far as foods and medical supplies and and just goods and services in general that they're receiving is not just coming from the United States government. It's coming right back home in China. Yes. So when a person comes from China to America, they're employed right in Chinatown. They can feel like they're right back home in China because they have culture. They have their temples. They have their institutions of learning. They have their medical facilities. They have banks. They have housing. They have training facilities where they can train their people with the cultural continuity attached to who and what they are so their people can persevere right here in America as Chinese people, to the point where you go to Chinatown, you feel like you in China. They don't got to speak English to you. If they don't want to, they can act like I speak no English, because they don't need you, because they have their self. They have cultural continuity. They practice Pan-Chinese or Pan-Asianism. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, they go right down to China. They don't have to conform. They don't have to capitulate to the American social order completely. You go down there, their culture is intact. You can't read the Chinese stuff. You can't go down and complain, why they got Chinese writing on these buildings? This is America, I'm protesting. No, because they practice and in their right minds in doing so is Pan-Asianism. Pan-Africanism, we know we're the sons and daughters of Africa, what is now called Africa, so we don't get caught up in word semantics. The original name was Akibulan. Nigga, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? So for the sake of argument, Pan-Africanism, we'll rock with that now. Okay, the term Africa, which we know we are descendants of, not having cultural continuity and a connection to that will result in the death of us. Because what happens is we assimilate and we become absorbed into the American social order, where people already divided, where people already robbed of a knowledge of self, where people already robbed of their land, there are people already robbed of their divinity and their greatness and the power of their own being. So now we want to detach ourselves from the land of our origin. Don't you know that there were many proponents of Pan-Africanism that supported the black nationalists right here in America? Muammar Gaddafi. Oh, you need to read the Little Green Book. And there's a chapter called The Third Universal Theory. And in the Third Universal Theory, he says it's a social phenomenon. And the time has come for a black man and woman in America to raise up. And he wanted to help assist us in that, by financing us and training us in the art of military and the science of in the art of war. You know what I'm saying? So now, the Africans hate you. Yeah, a lot of them have been conditioned to hate us the same way a lot of us hate them. That is part of cultural colonialism and indoctrination under the social paradigm of global white supremacy. Are we talking about the cause of the problem, or are we just talking about the problem being stuck with the problem is, but not understanding the dichotomy of the problem, the causes of the problem, the anatomy of what causes the problem, and therefore a resolution or an antidote to what that problem is. We have to put all things in perspective, but we have to do a thorough analysis and reevaluate our perceptions on things that we may misunderstand, that we may not have understood the way we thought we did when we denied or we subside from something that is going to be geared to our best interests. Okay, so you know what I mean? Muammar Gaddafi, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, the Revolutionary Handbook. You know what I'm saying? Read that book if you get a chance. All right. He talks about his cultural affinity to the blacks here in America. Now here it is. They had land. We have knowledge, and we can come together and start to do trade. Remember, every journey starts with a first step. That's a step in the right direction to building a people understanding what international trade is and doing commerce with people in the land of their nativity, which is Africa, a land which produces all of the resources that the world feeds off of and exploits. The Chinaman buying up Africa, supporting his Pan-Asian agenda. The Arab conquering Africa, sex slave camps, and slavery is still in full effect right in Mauritania right now in Africa. People are benefiting from Africa, but a lot of you simple niggas will have become simple. No disrespect. We've been made to be simplistic as far as what we see ourselves on an international level, because it is in an international fight that we are in. We are just here in America. Okay? So we must take all things into consideration and realize people are benefiting from the exploitation of Africa. And here it is, you don't even want to reconnect. We wear our red, black, and green and our unks, which come from Africa, and our head wraps and our kente cloth, and even have an African name or a Kemetic name, but then say, I ain't no Pan-African. I'm right here. Well, nigga, change your name. Go back to your slave name, nigga. Be Lucky Leroy Jones. You know what I'm saying? Because we are in an international fight and a plight for self-advancement, and the first law of nature is self-liberation, and we must understand that we have to have the skill and the knowledge that it takes to preserve ourselves. We are in a fight. We are at war, and the war is multidimensional. Yes, and Africa, which is the breadbasket of the damn planet Earth, is being exploited. Tantalum, right there. You see the cell phone. A cell phone wouldn't work unless you have a specific kind of chip in it. It's called tantalum, not titanium, but tantalum. Tantalum comes from the Congo. Yes, in abundance, the best kind, the primary reserve and the best kind of tantalum that you need to make microchips. And you need microchips for phones, you need microchips to launch weapons, you need microchips for satellites, for everything. Comes right up out of Africa, right in the Congo specifically. And it's no coincidence that also in the Congo, you have the highest rate of AIDS on the planet. Operation Depopulation. Yes, the unwanted eaters who are there standing on a land with so much riches and resources and wealth is on that you niggas don't want no part of that. Say, I ain't with that Pan-Africanism. Yeah, but you want to be from Jerusalem, or you want to be from Mecca, or you want to be from Morocco, you want to be from anywhere outside of your goddamn homeland. Yeah, Morocco's in Africa, but it's not even considered part of the African Union. All right? Now, so here it is, other people are exploiting our land, our resources. We need to have a Pan-Africanist mind state. We need to understand the necessity that is coming to have dual citizenship, to be repatriated back into. Everybody's not going to do it, and we know that. And everybody shouldn't. Marcus Garvey said, some of you niggas, some of you Negroes, let me lighten it up, better off right here in America. You ain't no good here in America. you ain't gonna be no good in Africa. So along with being Pan-Africanism, at the root to that is not just a political or social ideology. It has to be a knowledge of reform, transformation. We need reformed black people. We need to transform, and we need to become changed. We need to be de-Caucasianized. We need to be on better eating habits. We need to start living and thinking better. We need to be in tune with more positive programming, okay, to deprogram the programming that we're a product of. And there's a reason why we act the way, think the way, do the things we do, especially towards each other, okay? It's Pan-African or perish. You ever start to study political education more. In school, you had social studies class where you would study world history. You didn't just study history about one thing, even though the history was marginalized in such a way where the white man is always dominant and superior. But the whole point of the matter is, in school, you studied many different topics for many different reasons. Right now, as a people who are robbed of a knowledge of self and who have been written out of any respectable commentary in the annals of history, it is incumbent, it is imperative, yes, it is a critical on our behalf that we know history. But we don't just want to know history so we can feel good about knowing history. We want to know history so we can tap into our higher faculty of thought, our higher faculty of thinking, that higher process, that higher self, to know that we come from greatness and that we can exhibit greatness right here in real time in this life. That's why we deal with history. Not just as mental masturbate, to be elated because we know dates and times and names and places and faces. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of the balance. Like the show G.I. Joe. They used to have a commercial back in the day when they used to say, now I know. And knowing is half the battle. See, knowing is just half the battle. The other half is a certain skill level that you obtain through knowledge to implement the greatness that you see, to become the change that you want to see manifested in this life in real time. Oh yeah, it takes work. What is work? Work is force times distance. When something is not moving or something is still and you impose force on it to make it move, that is technically what is considered work on a scientific level. Well, we have to do work. We can't just be philosophers and armchair revolutionaries and scholars. We have to get on the ground. Everybody has different skills, and that's good, because just like a puzzle has different pieces purposely, when you put the pieces together, it fits perfectly into that bigger picture of the puzzle. Some people, their skill is teaching. Some people, their skill might be security. Some people, their skill might be hands-on. They're not as eloquent as others, okay? Everybody's brain works different. There is the frontal lobe, okay? When that part of the brain is responsible for people being outspoken, witty, funny, charismatic. Some people might not be that, but they're good. They're good and they're real, okay? And they're honest and they're sincere. But their skill level might not be always talking or being in front of the camera, and everybody shouldn't be. Some people might play the background and be training people in the art of war and military. They're not outspoken, okay? But they're dynamic in what they do, okay? These are the components that we have to consider for nation building if we're talking about nation building literally and not just in theory. If we're talking about nation building physically and not just mentally, where we're elated because we have knowledge, okay? And that knowledge makes us feel good. Feel good. Get that knowledge. But know, once again, that is only a part of the balance, okay? And knowing is only half the battle. The other half of the battle is applying knowledge, making that knowledge applicable, okay? When you go to college and you study in these higher institutions of learning, okay, you can have a degree in something, but that degree means nothing unless you're utilizing the degree. You're not going to get paid for it. You're not going to develop a certain kind of level of maturity and your own skill and discipline in it, because you learn it, but you might develop on another level because you have to practice it. You have to be a practitioner of that. The same thing with the knowledge, okay? We're going to make mistakes, and just the same thing. Everything has a procession cycle. Everything is a process. When you're dealing with knowledge, you come in on an immature level. You come in as babies, as new fruit in the truth, so to speak. And you develop. You'll lose friends. You'll gain other friends. You'll lose in relationships, women that you thought loved you and you loved them and you thought it was going to work. You may lose them. Or sisters out there, men, who you figured, you know, we're going to ride this out together. You may lose that. You may gain new people in your life. Family members may turn on you. Former best friends when you was in a life of mischief and just in the world, even if you wasn't in mischief, you wasn't doing what you're doing or saying what you're saying or dressing like what you're dressing like now, you may lose some of them friends. But this is all part of the journey. This is all part of the maturing process to make your skin thick, to make your mind strong, to make your spirit ready to embark on higher levels in this journey that is inevitably going to come if you're sincere and real with this. Okay? You're going to go through a process, a cycle of change and development. That developmental process is inevitable as long as you're on the path. Same thing, you apply things that you learn in higher institutions of learning, school or a trade. You have to apply the knowledge in real time now. My gift is the ability of this, to harness the power of the spoken word, to inspire people. And I've inspired many people. I don't always talk about things that I did, you know what I'm saying, for the camera. You know, I could. Even when I consider something that is not the truth, okay, but there is many aspects of truth in it and transforming and healing in it, the doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites. And that, I woke up many brothers. There was a time in Boston where half the brothers in the camp was brothers that I brought into it. That was former convicts that was imprisoned with me. That was straight killers, some of them, straight up. You know what I'm saying? That had changed their life because I introduced them to something that they had never heard or never even gave a damn about before. That power and that ability in me is the spirit and power and gift, the gift of the Most High, because I'm not atheist. I do believe in a creator and a higher power, just not the spooky version of that. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that is a gift raised up in me from a higher power, and that is my mission. Two most important times in your life is when you're born and when you find out why you were born. I knew what my mission was early. I didn't always live right in my path because maturity level in the knowledge. I had to develop and go through trials and errors. I still had more journeying to trek through. You know what I'm saying? And it's made me more disciplined. Some people are, oh, you're not humble. I'm humble. I'm humble. I'm just a warrior too. There's a balance to the spirit. Humble don't mean always humble, and peace don't always mean pussy. Okay? There's a difference. I come in peace. You know what I'm saying? But you can rest in peace if you try to take away my peace. That's what I stand for. That's called balance. That's called my art. But you're supposed to let your good deeds and your good character traits and your good discipline and energy supersede anything that is negative, okay? And I'm a firm believer in that. But when you have a situation that is what you would call an impasse, when you cannot resolve a situation through dialogue and trying to be positive, you have to resort to a physicality because of self-defense. We have to be ready for that too. In martial arts class, you learn to defend yourself and fight, because there's going to be a time where talking ain't going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's not called talk fu, it's called kung fu. You know what I'm saying? For a reason. But you also learn a discipline of character. In my years of doing martial arts, I learned character development, discipline, and training the body. You know what I'm saying? And the mind. It's a holistic thing when you apply it the right way. You know what I'm saying? As a people, back to Pan-Africa, I had to throw that little sidebar in. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind that I'm going freestyle off the top. I had no specific topic that I wanted to talk about coming out here, but I know it comes from the heart, which makes it more real. I have something to give to the people. I have something to share with the people. It's coming from my love for self and kind and my commitment until death for the liberation and salvation of black people, for us to see a transformation. Even though I know I won't live to see many transformations because they have many stages to go through, I'm going to give my life for this cause while I'm here. Okay? And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to commit myself to self-improvement, self-development, and transformation to make me a better person to come before the people as a soldier and a race soldier and a warrior for the cause of liberation. Everybody doesn't have the warrior spirit. It's understandable. Some people are more meek, more, you know, they're different because of the environment that they grew up in, or just because of the household environment, community, or the household specifically, or just that's just how they are. It's just in their blood. However, it is meant for me to be a warrior. It is meant for me to be a vanguard. It is meant for me to be a front liner, and I gladly take that stance and stand on my square and my post as being this, because this is real. This is what I believe in to the death. Not just believing, this is what I know in, and I'm gonna ride with this to the death. And when I die, I will die like Tupac said, bury me a G. You know what I'm saying? RBG. Bury me a G with the RB in front of it. No doubt. Because And when you're really real with this and you're before the people, not only do you have external enemies, white folks and others, you have internal enemies. A lot of our people, because of our sickness, our psychological, our centuries-long psychological sickness that we have, we exhibit that through self-hatred, through divisiveness, through infiltration, through being counter-revolutionary on any opportunity and chance we get a chance to do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us hate us. You know what I mean? And we know, and I say that to say this, when you're a person that's a freedom fighter, a long life is not guaranteed. It could be cut short. But while you're here, you have to be strong in vanguard and you have to duplicate. Because that way you can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution. So I'm a spoke in the wheel of this change, this complete constructive change of what we call revolution. Through giving what I have to offer, which is teaching the people, which is networking and trying to wake up the youth and stopping them from killing each other. That is my gift. That's the element that I come from. I grew up hard. I seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that our greatest warriors, or potential greatest warriors, are in the prison institution, the penal system, or they're on the streets lost and destitute of light and the knowledge of self. So I've committed myself to studying, to being eloquent enough, to being real enough, first and foremost. So when I come before the people and I come before these young soldiers out here, I have something to offer to them to help to transitionalize their way of thinking and make them better men, make them better soldiers. We have to become better fathers. We have to become better students. We have to become better people that say that we're conscious and that we're about liberation. We have to teach the people. We have to be willing to take losses. We have to be willing to accept the fact that we may lose friends if we ain't already lost some of the ones we grew up with because of our transition. Yeah, I'm married to this. I love my queen, boo, I love you, down there in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see you again, queen. But I'm married to this first. She knows that, and that's why I know that that queen's suitable for me. I am married to this. I am married to black liberation. That is my first love, okay? Everything else comes under that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm married to this first. So if anybody ever leaves me or turns their back on me for this or that which I stand on, see you later. Go on, girl. Get to moving. All right, brother. Peace. Hasta la vista and Chavez to you. You know what I'm saying? But I will stand firm on what I stand for to the death. Oh, another sidebar again. I want to give a shout out to my brother. Shout out to the Unit team, okay? Brother Big L and Brother Al, always my brothers right there. And these are the hats right here. You see that hat? Zoom in on it, Baba. That hat, it represents through study, through research, through elevating our consciousness, we break shackles. And because we are a study group that is geared towards the mental liberation through dedication, through study and investigation, committed to the liberation of the minds and hearts of our people, that's what this hat signifies. That's what this hat embodies. This is the Unit team symbol right here. Okay, through study and research, we break shackles. Okay? Yeah, I'm saying these hats will be on sale soon, so you'll be able to order these hats or come to some of the events and purchase some of these. This is just a little rough draft version of the hats. We're gonna upgrade it and take it to another level. It's already corporate written, so don't try to bite. You know, our people might get some bright ideas. I still love y'all though. So you know, always study. Studying is very important. Everything that you see around us, the infrastructure, vehicles, phones, anything that you see that's tangible is a result of people that studied and that applied observation and participation. In other words, they applied, they observed, they studied, and then they put that knowledge to use. Okay, so therefore you have a tangible reality in which you see is the finished product. In order to see the desired, the desired results of what we want to manifest in the flesh, we have to commit first to study, which takes discipline, which takes focus, which takes commitment, and which takes a love. It has to be all rooted in the right thing. Love for the people. And when you love people, I don't got to teach you to hate the white man. You'll automatically hate your enemies, even if the enemy is within you. You'll hate that and work on eradicating that negative energy from out of yourself. Study and apply. Okay? It's a process of observation and participation. We must become the change that we want to see in real time. That doesn't take place unless you change from within, because revolution starts within and then it spreads abound. So always know and understand that discipline and love is at the root of any kind of transition that you aspire to take place and manifest in this time and be examples to others. Okay? What else did I want to touch on? Oh, we have the real quick, I'm gonna close out with this. Peace, brother. How you doing? All right? Yes, sir. Give a shout out to the brother over here. Another intelligent elder, a brother who I look up to and for many years have learned a lot from and have gotten a lot of books from. When I say study, you see this man in Harlem, you coming through here, he usually got books on him. Man, that man got books on him like a gangbanger got guns on him or drugs on him. He got books on him. Hit him up. He always got some powerful books for sale on many different topics, man. A plethora of information. Okay, he's a walking encyclopedia himself. Much respect to you. So yeah, I want to say we have coming up the Exodus Conference. Did the Exodus take place? Did the Exodus take place? A lot of people, why y'all keep talking about religion and keep talking about different dogmatic type of topics and things like that? Because it happens anyway. It happens on the street. It happens in the workplace. It happens behind closed door. People in this age of information and in this age of a transition of consciousness, the paradigm of consciousness is shifting. People are inevitably talking about these things. What we're doing is having a controlled environment and an intellectual format and forum where we're dialoguing, so that people who are talking about this or seeking knowledge or just don't even know what's what or why we're even having these things, some clarity can be given to them and information can be made manifest to them for them to do research. Okay, it's a powerful thing. A lot of information is going to come out of that. A lot of people will be reawakened. Sometimes people are not going to wake up. Sometime, right? They say the truth is synonymous with light. Did it die? The truth is synonymous with light because the light enhances your ability to see, your vision. Okay, but sometimes the light could be so bright that it blinds a person. Sometimes you have to give them light in small volumes, small amounts, because you don't want to blind the person that you're trying to give light to. So, you know, these are just steps. There's so much information I can go on, a plethora of information. No, I don't just believe the Exodus didn't happen. I know the Exodus did not happen. And I hope that I'm a part of that lecture or that debate, because I want people to see Sankofa's handle on a debate level. A lot of people, a lot of years have been seeing me talk, and a lot of people, as I don't always show my handle, got it twisted and think, oh, he can't debate, he can't get up there and show his handle. Au contraire, mon frère. You know what I'm saying? But in the spirit of humility, in the spirit of loving truth and knowledge, I will be bringing a lot more information on the Exodus, hopefully next time, and how it didn't happen, and why it's a good story, but it's not a factual one, no historical merit, but a lot of good value in it, ideological or theologically, in a theological sense. It's starting to drizzle out here. Brother Baba got to go, got that 8-hour ride back all the way up in Syracuse, so I'm not going to hold you long. But I had to come strong, okay? Because I do it for the people, and I do it because it's the right thing to do, and that is the spirit that dwells within me, and what you see is what you get. It's all me, 100% official, baby. Black power.